It's Thursday the 1st of June, I suppose the word June swings round and its season starts here. The plants have really motored and it's time to get them in the ground. I've already planted some of the miniatures and poms in the garden. These are the ones that were potted coming up for might be 3 weeks Wednesday, so that's time to get in the ground. That's the maximum I like to leave them in there. Whether I can get it out of the pot one-handed, probably not, he says, trying. We'll do that later. But this is actually a Marston Currant. And there's a lot of discussion on Facebook and things about what to do, tall plants, stop them. It is a big plant, but it's not an old plant, and that's key. This is only a mid-April cutting, and it's just grown on and grown well in the pot, nice fat stem, and is mature. And there's no way you're going to hold that plant until end of June to take the top out of it. So it's now I tend to do it, bite the bullet. If you do it too much earlier, you find that the side breaks start budding before you want to take them back. So I'm going to just stop the plant basically. Ideally I'd go down the bottom here and remove this whole top section. But someone's leaving a big fat hollow stem causes more harm than good. So just thumb, take the top off. That alone is a bit pointless because these top shoots will soon develop and develop buds. So I'll just pick them out with my thumb again. So we've actually stopped that break from developing shoots. And then we've got at least 6 coming from lower down in the plant. That's ready to go in the ground, and that will grow away lovely. So they're really motoring now, the plants. So that's Marston Currant. The Challenger in the big 2 litre pots have been stopped, as you can see, quite hard down. Should only give me about 6 shoots, and most of them are coming up from underneath the leaves there, and that's how I want to grow those this year. Get a nice strong plant and chop it back hard later. The Winholm are flying away, and it's a lovely chunky plant, roots just coming out the bottom there. But that's a nice batch of Winholm all in their 5s, ready to go in the ground hopefully within the next few days. The blackberries have planted, the moonlights are cracking plants again. I might say they're too big, but they're not big. They're not old, but they are quite big. And a nice wide full plant. No sign of the bud in there yet, but we have got some side shoots developing because the plant has been kept soft. But again, that's going to get a double stop as I plant it. Even the oak wood now, that's probably starting to think about producing a bud in the tip there, but I should just chunk that down to about 3 or 4 pairs of leaves when it's planted in the next few days. But there's a nice batch of oak wood there finally just, and they're the moonlights. Marston Suzanne is a big flower on the big plants, so these I've already stopped to get as much side breaks as a growth as I can. And as you can see, that's what they've got. They've already got a good full pair of leaves and a bit more, and they should develop into a nice strong size, and I can get about 15-16 flowers in the plant from that. That's what's left of the Dave's Choice. The rest have been planted, and that's Valentine in there. Hopefully can just about hold the bud. It's not one that does bud quick. I shall plant it nice and deep, bury the first couple of pairs of leaves, try to get the growth out from the top. The Marys, More Place and Gertler have all gone in the garden, and obviously that's what happens if you don't pot them up. You get a hard little plant with a flower on it, which is not something I'm going to use, but if you really had to, you could chop that about and use it, but not for me. And that hopefully won't be the finest moonlights that I'll produce all year. So it's a bit hot in here now, but it'd be good to get them out. I've got most of the garden planted, which I'll show you in a bit, and the allotments prepared. It'd be nice to get the rest of these out there in the ground and putting their arms out, as it were. There's the root system, that's Winholm Diane. So these are potted up, coming up for 3 weeks in a 5-inch pot, and that's about time to get out into the ground. They're not really twisting around. It's a good strong white root. Don't overwater, they've only just been watered today, but I'll allow a few plants to start looking a little bit dry before they get watered. I think when you put them in a big pot, quite often they get watered too much, and instead of gaining root, people lose root. So I tend to keep them on the dry side and see how they go from there. But I'm happy so far. Probably some of the best plants I've had for a long time, even when I was growing. But they're good, strong and soft. That's the key. 6 o'clock Saturday the 3rd of June. Allotments all made into beds, so I've just lifted the soil from the paths, put it up onto the beds. So we've got 1 bed, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It should be, once I've put the gains in and mark them out, I'm going to dig the holes this morning. That's going to be the Valentine, Challenger, Moonlight, Winholm and Oakwood. It's a little bit boring for colours, being yellow and white, apart from the Valentine, but all the smalls to the giants up here, and then I shall work on a cover to go over the a lot of them while they're growing. So I'm just going to mark the canes out now and dig the holes ready, and hopefully get them planted tomorrow morning and maybe Monday morning. That's all that done. Sunday morning, I think it's the 3rd or the 4th, about 5:30. Going to get these plants in hopefully before work. Got up here yesterday morning and dug all the holes ready, 2 foot apart, 3 rows in a bed. Got all the plants up here in the rows ready. It's had the fast grow and bloodfish and bone base dressing in a couple of weeks ago. So it's just now a case of putting them in. We've had a real torrential downpour Friday, so the ground's nice and damp. Luckily where it's stony, and I raised it up a little bit just before, and it's still workable, and I can still plant without too much stickiness. So we'll see if we can get those in. Plants are just ready there to drop in the holes, backfill, canes in. That's Oakwood Goldcrest there. I'm just planting the Challenger, and I said earlier I intended to grow these as a bigger plant with an earlier first stop and then plant them quite deep. So this is the plants. Excuse the lens, kept swinging around. You can see where I've chopped the top out to 3 pairs, no more. They're well away, and that's a benefit of a 2 litre pot. Nice root system ready to go in the ground, not pot bound, and a nice soft plant. So imagine that if that's kept in a 10 cm or a 9 cm, it would have been hard and pot bound. So far it's working out as I hoped. Right, 9 o'clock, time to go to work. I've just got them in, so that's the Oakwood 39, 38 I think. All the plants are 2 foot apart, 2 foot between the rows. That's a Winholm, all being stopped for the first time as they went in the ground. That's the Moonlight, or Eastwood Moonlight. There's an odd white moonlight at the end. Challenger, all went out of 5-inch pots, or 2 litre pots. And Valentine, the only ones not to have been stopped yet. So hopefully I'll hold those on a single stop where the Challenger have been done. So that's all in. Let's hope they get away. Very pleased with the soil, I'm pleased with the plants. So we'll see how they settle in. Right, so these have been in coming up for a week I suppose. There's an oddball barberry pip there just to see how it does. I used to grow it, I wanted to see what the stock's like now. There's about 20 Rycroft blackberry, and I'm just leaving the shoots after the first stop on those to be what they are, and I'll knock them back as they bud. I don't want huge numbers of shoots on it, so I don't really know how it behaves, so I'm just sort of letting it tick along. More place obviously I've grown in the past. I've got 10 plants here, and this is Stuart Cleanse's stock, so we'll see what that's like. And they've had 2 stops, so you can see there's plenty of shoots on there. Should be around about 20 on there so far, and these will get a stop about the 3rd week of June again, and that'll be the last stop, and let them go and knock some buds back as they come. It doesn't flush in a big way like some of the poms do, so I like to get a few early and then let them tickle through until we get the main flush. This is the Girdler. Again, it's only had the 1 stop, 3 pairs, so we've got at least 6 shoots there. It's probably 7. They're settling in alright considering it's so shady. Get the odd bit of bird dropping out the tree above, but they get in there, and then soon I'll give them another go, and then I'll just control them and pinch buds back. You can see we've already got a bud there, so I'll go down fairly hard on that, take that out, and it still leaves some to come. Another one there. Take it down. If you keep doing it too much, you'll end up with too many flowers, and they'll end up being too small. So they seem to be settling in alright. On this bed here, these have just gone in close to time. We've got about 10 or 12 R1, which is a new one from Cyril that I'm trying, and we've got 18 Primrose Hall. Again, they've had the first stop, leaving the smaller plants like that. I'm going to just leave because it's only young, should be alright, and go from there. Got to experiment with something you haven't grown a bit before, because you really don't know how it performs. Marys I do know how, and these are the 25 Marys that all had the first stop, and we'll double stop those, knock them about a bit as they come. I used to grow about 16 up, I think in the garden 14 might be nearer to it. Dave's Choice have all had the stops. Again, I stopped them quite hard, down to about 3 pairs. Only one about 8 up in the end, so 6 shoots to start with is more than enough. And there's 25 of those. So go around the bed. And then these were planted Friday night. We've got Marston Karen, or Barbary Karen, or whatever we're going to call it. And if they've had a single stem, they've been stopped. Down to again 3 pairs. Ones that have had buds in early, it tends to bud quite quick. This one, I stopped it hard. There was 4 shoots, and I've just donked out these down to 1 pair of leaves, and I'll leave these side ones. If these bud up before I want them to, I've still got 4 shoots there that I can stop again, and I only want to grow it 8 or 9 up, so that should be more than enough. So we've got about 23, I think, something like that of that, and then we've got 26 Marston Suzanne. Again, it is a big one for a miniature, so it's had a first stop. They're getting bigger, and I'll hold on to them as long as I can and give them a second stop, hopefully towards the end of the month, or pick the shoots that haven't budded and stop those. That's a garden planted, about 160 something in the garden. There's Trump Wall again, which is the back of the man cave shed garden room that I'm building. It does sort of obscure the pet Dahlias from the house, but they're settling in. I'm quite happy, considering this is about as bright as it gets in the garden. We get little bits of sun come across like that at the end there, so we'll get a little bit at some point of the day, but that's about it. So we'll see how they settle in.